हेलो गाइस, आप लोग कैसे हैं। मैं डॉक्टर पूजा कुशवाहा फिर आपके साथ। जैसा कि आपको पता है कि द वेस्टलैंड बाय टी.एस. एलियट जो है आपके सिलेबस में इंक्लूड है। तो आज हम लोग कुछ ऑब्जेक्टिव्स देखते हैं इसके। इन द वेस्टलैंड ड्राई बोन्स सिग्निफाइंग विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग। तो आंसर स्पिरिचुअल डेथ। इन द वेस्टलैंड रेड्स रिप्रेजेंट फॉर विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग। Both A and B, squalor and corruption of modern civilization. In Eliot's poetry, fire represents for which of the following destruction? As Wednesday is a religious poem. Eliot's four quartet deals with which of the following? Time and eternity. The theme of the wasteland is hollowness of modern civilization. In the wasteland, Eliot says that modern man has become snobbish and hollow. Eliot's The Sacred Wood was published in which year? 1920. Eliot's pre-Christian decade of literary preoccupation spreads from 1919 to 28. Eliot's After Strange Gods was published in which year? 1934. Eliot's The Sacred Wood consists of 20 essays. In the Wasteland, Madame Sosostris was a fortune teller. In Eliot's poetry, rose is a symbol of Christian church, both B and C, Virgin Mary. In Eliot's poem, winter is the symbol of which of the following? Death, which is not a poem, or to Nightingale. Okay, so A Cooking Egg also उनकी Eliot की poem है. Eliot's literary essay on poetry and poet was published in which year? 1957. The modern people are very interested in which of the following? B and C, palmistry and fortune telling. Eliot used rain as symbol of which of the following? Spiritual rebirth. In the wasteland, red rock is a symbol of which of the following? Christian church. What is the first phase of Eliot's poetry? 1997 to 99. What is the fourth period of Eliot's poetry? 1925 to 1933. Which period of Eliot's poetry is known as the period of Eliot's Christian poetry? Fourth period. Which period of Eliot's religious poetry is distinguished with the Christian poetry? Fifth period. Okay. What year was The Wasteland published? 1922. In which section of The Wasteland does Tarsus appear? The Fire Sermon. The Fire Sermon. What is the epigraph of The Wasteland? D. Nam Sibyllum Quidem, a German language. Which of the following is not recurring motif in The Wasteland? Airplanes. What is the significance of the figure of the Fisher King in The Wasteland? So answer D. He symbolized the loss of fertility and decline of nature world. Who is Madame Sosostris in The Wasteland? A clairvoyant. Which of the following lines is not from The Wasteland? Answer D. The horror. This line from Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness. What is the significance of the title The Wasteland? All of the above. It refers to the physical wasteland of World War I. It represents the emotional and psychological wasteland of modern society. It symbolizes the decay of Western civilization. Which of the following literary technique is not employed in The Wasteland? Rhyme. Which of the following poets is not alluded to in The Wasteland? Answer D. Emily Dickinson. In which section of The Wasteland does the speaker describe a crowd of people crossing London Bridge? Answer is The Burial of the Dead. What is the significance of Hyacinth girls in The Wasteland? All of the above. She represents a lost love. She symbolizes the beauty and fragility of life. She represents the hopelessness of modern existence. Which of the following is not section of The Wasteland? D. The Love Song of J.L. Falk. In which section of The Wasteland does the speaker describe a surreal encounter with typist, a game of chess? What is the significance of the title The Wasteland in relation to T.S. Eliot's religious beliefs? Answer C. It symbolizes his belief in the possibility of rebirth and renewal through faith. Which of the following characters from mythology appears in the wasteland Orpheus? In which section of the wasteland does the speaker describes the nightmarish vision of the drowned sailor death by water? What is the significance of the line Santi 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 at the end of the wasteland? All of the above. It represents a prayer of peace and redemption. It symbolizes the end of the poem's journey through spiritual or emotional darkness. It reflects Eliot's interest in Eastern religion and philosophies. All of the above. Which of the following phrases is not repeated throughout the wasteland? B. In the mountain there you feel free. What is the meaning of the term objective correlative as used T.S. Eliot in his essay Hamlet in his problem in the wasteland? Answer is a literary device used to evoke emotion in the reader through symbolic objects or events. What is the significance of the reference to the Greek myths of the Fisher King in the wasteland? Answer is A. It symbolizes the search for spiritual healing and redemption in barren wasteland. Which of the following is not a theme explored in the wasteland? So answer C. The joys of youthful innocence and romance. What is the meaning of the line April is the cruelest month in the wasteland? Answer is A. It represents pain and suffering of rebirth and renewal. In which section of the wasteland does the speaker describe surreal and grotesque encounter with corpse, the fire sermon? What is the significance of the epigraph to the wasteland which quotes the Roman poet Virgil? Answer D. All of the above. It reflects Eliot's interest in classical literature and culture. It represents the idea that all great literature is influenced by the past. It symbolizes the idea that modern society is in decline and needs to be rebuilt. What is the central metaphor used in the wasteland to describe the state of modern society? Answer is A. A wasteland or desert landscape. In which section of the wasteland does the speaker describes a group of men sitting in a bar discussing their failed relationship with the women? Answer is a game of chess. Which of the following is not a literary device used in the wasteland? Foreshadowing. What is the significance of the repeated phrase Shanti 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 at the end of the wasteland? It represents the Hindu concept of peace and tranquility. It symbolizes the possibility of spiritual renewal and redemption. It reflects Eliot's interest in Eastern religion and philosophy, all of the above. What is the tone of the wasteland? Pessimistic and despairing. Okay. What is the meaning of the phrase unreal city in the opening lines of the wasteland? So answer is it refers to the surreal and marish quality of modern society. It represents the alienation and disconnection of urban life. It reflects Eliot's fascination with the city of London. Which of the following is not a section of the wasteland? Answer C. The Hollow Man. What is the significance of the allusion to the biblical figure of Tarsus in the wasteland? So answer C. It symbolizes the possibility of spiritual transformation and redemption. Which of the following is not a cultural reference found in the wasteland? Answer D. Fitzgerald the Great Gatsby. What is the significance of the allusion to the Grail region in the wasteland? Answer is A. It represents the search for spiritual redemption and healing. In which section of the wasteland does the speaker describes a drowned sailor? Death by water. Which of the following is not a character mentioned in the wasteland? Mrs. Dalloway, Cleopatra, Madame Sorceress, and Phaedria mentioned. What is the significance of the allusion to the myth of Phlebis and Pontius in the wasteland? Answer is D. It represents the idea of the transience and fragility of life. It reflects Eliot's interest in the classical literature and culture. It symbolizes the decay and corruption of the Western civilization. In which section of the wasteland does the speaker describe a barren and lifeless landscape? Answer A. The burial of the dead. What is the significance of the title The Wasteland? Answer A. It represents the desolate and barren state of modern society. In the wasteland, what is the significance of the line April is the cruelest month? So answer A. It represents the paradox of new life and rebirth in the midst of death and decay. Which of the following themes is not explored in the wasteland? Answer C. Love and romance. In which section of the wasteland does the speaker describe a crowd of people crossing London Bridge? Answer C. The fire sermon. Which of the following literary movements influenced the wasteland? Answer C. Modernism. What is the significance of the repeated phrase hurry up pleads his time in the wasteland? So answer A. It represents the sense of urgency and impatience of modern life. In which section of the wasteland does the speaker describe a scene in a bar with a woman named Lil, a game of chess? What is the significance of the title The Wasteland in relation to the World War First? All of the answer B. It symbolizes the emotional and spiritual aftermath of the war. Which of the following is not a symbol or motif found in the wasteland? Wind, fire, blood, wind, water, fire, blood, wind. In which section of the wasteland does the speaker describe a scene in a chapel with a group of women chanting? So answer is A. The burial of the dead. What is the significance of the final line of the wasteland? Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So answer is D. All of the above. It represents the speaker's sense of peace and spiritual harmony. It reflects Eliot's interest in Eastern philosophy and religion. It symbolizes the possibility of redemption and renewal. What is the significance of the epigraph at the beginning of The Wasteland? So, answer is D. It sets the tone of the themes explored in the poem. It provides a clue to the structure of the poem. Okay, in which section of The Wasteland does the speaker describe a woman who has lost her lover? The fire sermon. What is the significance of the imagery of the journey in the wasteland? Answer D. All of the. It represents the speaker's personal experience of transformation and renewal. It reflects Eliot's interest in mythology and archetypal symbols. It symbolizes the collective journey of humanity through time and history. Which of the following is not a technique used in the wasteland to create meaning? Answer D. Rhyme. In which section of the wasteland does the speaker describe a scene in a desert with a group of men? Answer D. What the thunder said. What is the significance of the title of the section Burial of the Dead in the Wasteland? Answer D. It represents the physical death of individual in the aftermath of World War First. It symbolizes the spiritual death of humanity in the modern era. It reflects Eliot's interest in religious rituals and tradition. Okay. In which section of the wasteland does the speaker describe a scene in a garden with a woman named Mary? So answer is D. The burial of the dead. Which of the following themes is central to the wasteland? Death and decay. What is the significance of the repeated phrase "Why Lala" in the wasteland? Answer B. It reflects Eliot's interest in a musical and poetic language. In which section of the wasteland does the speaker describes a scene in a wasteland with a character named Tarsus, the fire sermon? Which of the following statement about TSL use of literary allusion in the wasteland is true? Answer C. The allusion are used to comment on and critique the present. In which section of the wasteland does the speaker describes a scene in a street with a crowd of people? Answer A. The burial of the dead. What is the significance of the imagery of water in the wasteland? Answer D. It represents the destructive power of nature. It symbolizes the cleansing and purifying power of baptism. It reflects its interest in the sea and maritime culture. Which of the following statement about the structure of the wasteland is true? Answer D. All of the above. It is divided into 5 sections. Each section is named after a different. The structure is designed to reflect the fragmentation, disorientation of modern life. In which section of the wasteland does the speaker describes a scene in a pub with a group of men? Answer B. A game of chess. What is the significance of the figure of the Fisher King in the wasteland? Answer D. All of the above. It represents the moral decay and spiritual impotence of modern society. It symbolizes the need for a new and visionary leader to restore hope and meaning. It reflects Eliot's interest in Arthurian legend and medieval literature. In which section of the wasteland does the speaker describe a scene in a desert with a caravan of people? Mummy? Which of the following is an example of a literary device used in the wasteland? Answer D. All of the above. Metaphor, allusion, repetition. What is the significance of the epigraph from the Satyricon of Petronius in the wasteland? Answer D. All of the above. It introduces a theme of sexuality and desire in the poem. It reflects the earliest interest in classical literature and culture. It sets the tone for the ironic and satirical tone of the poem. In which section of the wasteland does the speaker describe a scene in a church with a group of women praying? Answer A. The burial of the dead. Which of the following is an example of the theme of death in the wasteland? Answer D. All of the above. The reference to the drowned sailor in the opening lines, the description of the barren landscape in the final section, the depiction of a corpse in a room in a game of chess. In which section of the wasteland does the speaker describe a scene in a garden with the women singing um, a game of chess? What is the significance of the repeated phrase Santi Santi at the end of the wasteland? Answer D. It is a prayer for peace and enlightenment. It symbolizes the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. It reflects Eliot's interest in Eastern spirituality and philosophy. In which section of the wasteland does the speaker describe a scene in brothel? Answer C. The fire sermon. Which of the following is an example of the theme of cultural decay in the wasteland? So, all of the above, the reference to the ruined city of Carthage in the opening lines, the description of the decaying landscape in the final section, the depiction of sterile and meaningless society in the Burial of the Dead. Which of the following is an example of the theme of death in the wasteland? The reference to the drowned sailor in the opening lines, the description of the barren landscape in the final section, the depiction of a corpse in a room in a game of chess. In which section of the wasteland does the speaker describe a scene in a garden with the women singing? Answer B. A game of chess. What is the significance of the repeated phrase Santi Santi at the end of the wasteland? Just an instant spirituality. The fire sermon. Brothel. Which of the following is an example of theme of culture decay in the wasteland? The reference to University of the Carthage. Eliot's poem Water represent for which of the following? So B and C. Death and generation. In the wasteland, dry bones signifying which of the spiritual death? Rats refers to both and be corruption of squalor, squalor and corruption of modern civilization. In Eliot's poetry, fire represent for which of the following? Answer D. C. Destruction. Eliot's As Wednesday is a political poem, religious poem, sorry. Eliot's four quartet deal with which of the following? Time and eternity. The theme of the wasteland is hollowness of modern civilization. And in the wasteland, Eliot says the modern man has become snobbish and hollow. Eliot's second book was published in which year? 1920. The second book. Eliot's pre-Christian decade of literary preoccupation is from 1919 to 28. Which of the following is not a contemporary of Eliot? D. William Shakespeare. Eliot's After Stain Gods was published in which year? 1934. Eliot's second would consist of 20 essays. In the wasteland, Madame Sausages was a fortune teller. In Eliot's poetry, rose is a symbol of Virgin Mary in Christian Church. In Eliot's poem Winter, in symbol of which of the following? Answers A. Death, which is not a poem of Eliot. Ode to Nightingale. Eliot's literary essay on poetry and poets was published in which year? 1957. The modern people are very interested in which of the following? One misty fortune. Eliot used rain as a symbol of which of the following? Spiritual rebirth. The wasteland red rock is a symbol of which of the following? Christian church. What is the first phase of Eliot's poetry? 1907 to 19. What is the fourth period of Eliot's poetry? 1925 to 1933. Which of the following of Eliot's poetry is known as the of Eliot's Christian poetry? Fourth period. Religious poetry is distinguished with the fifth period. What is the third period of 1980 to 1925? So, the magazine of which was an editor was closed because it was outbreak of war in which region? Europe. Eliot's themes in the early phase of his poetry usually urban, which was written during the fifth period of Eliot's poetry. The Dry Salvages. What is not a poem by Eliot? The Road Not Taken. Which poem was written during the second period of Eliot's poetry? The Love Song of Jailbird Prufrock. Which poem was written during the first period of Eliot's poetry? None of these. Eliot's poetic drama. The Family Reunion was written in which year? 1939. Which poem was written during the fifth period of Eliot's poetry? Little Gidding. आई थिंक कि आपको समझ में आया होगा एलियट के ऑब्जेक्टिव्स जो कि हेल्पफुल होंगे आपके हायर में. जैसे इसमें लिखा द रॉक ऑफ पेजेंट प्लस वॉज रिटन 1934. एलियट पास अवे इन विच ईयर? 1965. एलियट्स राइटिंग में भी डिवाइडेड इनटू 3 हेड्स. ठीक है, तो आप ये एस विटने 4 क्वाड्रेट्स भी देख सकते हैं. और आई होप कि आपको ये वीडियो पसंद आया होगा. अगर आपको ये वीडियो पसंद आया है तो प्लीज़ लाइक सब्सक्राइब ज़रूर करिए. और अगर आप लाइक सब्सक्राइब करेंगे, कमेंट करेंगे तो मुझे मोटिवेशन मिलेगा और मैं ऐसे ही हायर एजुकेशन के वीडियोस बनाती रहूँगी MCQ और डिटेल में. थैंक यू सो मच. जय हिंद, जय भारत.